Welcome back to Autism Live, this very special episode where we have Matt Asner from the Autism Society of America with us, and we have Robia Rashid, who is, as I said before, the creative genius behind Atypical. We're so fortunate to have you, and we've taken so much of your time up, but we have to, before we leave, talk a little bit about season 2. And can I tell you, I just almost said season 3.
Wow.
So eventually we'll have that conversation.
Yes.
But this show has already had a huge legacy. You've added so much to the autism community. I think everybody's excited that you're going to get at least one more season. Any ideas of what's going to happen in season 2?
Any teasers?
No, I mean, look, I've before there was a season 1, I was thinking about what season 2 would be and what season 3 would be. I do know that Sam's going to graduate. Or he's at least going towards graduation. There will be some sort of big thing around graduation. And also because I'm like nerdy about theme and stuff, like I'm going to dive into what that means for everybody and what this sort of theme of endings and transitions, and which is really what the show is about in a lot of ways. You know, we pick up with Sam when he's seeking independence and transition. We have 10 episodes instead of 8 this season.
There we go.
So we have more time to do stuff. I'm really excited about that. I can't tell you the amount of times in the writer's room where we were like, we had so much story.
Yeah.
And if you watch those episodes, they're jam-packed with story.
Yes, they really are.
It made it hard to shoot because it was just a lot of like, wait, now we're in a grocery store, now we're in a track. But it's exciting to be able to sort of spend a little more time with the family in this season. We've talked a little bit about this, but I have plans to get more autistic actors. It's a real goal of mine.
Great.
And
did you hear that collective cheer that happened when you said that? Could you?
It was loud.
I
that?
did.
I heard it was coming even from Russia.
Yes.
That's how far away it was coming from.
Fans in the
Talk about
future.
Russia right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Okay.
Sorry.
We digress.
I think because she's so beloved, there should probably be more Casey because I just love her so much.
Amen to that.
You know, I actually switched schools when I was in high school. I was going to this terrible public school, and then my mom wanted to send my brother to a better school, and she said, you can stay or go. And so I went with them. She actually she worked in this town that was like a nicer town than where we lived, and so she got a little apartment there, and she would stay there during the week and claim residency, and then my brother could go to this private school for free because he was a resident.
Wow.
And so she said, you can come with us or not, and I did, and it was terrible.
That's very Casey-like.
Yes,
It is.
yes. And there's a lot of similarities.
Ah,
Okay.
Do you think she had part of something to do with the story?
Very Casey-like.
So I went.
If you want to, you can come with us, but you know.
That's exactly how it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was a junior at the time, and I had been at a school where, you know, they just didn't have a lot of resources. So I get to this fancy school, and it was basically Clayton Prep. It was like beautiful and whatever, lots of resources and pools and whatever. And I was so behind that I was taking 2 of everything, so 2 math classes, 2 English classes, 2 science classes. I was taking chemistry and bio, I think, physics and chemistry at the same time. And I was playing soccer, and I got mono. I got super sick. And then my mom was so tired from driving back and forth every weekend that she got into like a not serious but little car accident. And we ended up coming back to my old school. And that was awful too, going to this fancy school and coming back. So I'm excited to sort of play with like that for Casey. Like if she goes to Clayton Prep, what is that experience, and what is the pull back to school and back to Sam, and just kind of see that confident character really out of her element.
Love it.
And I'm sure everyone's interested to see what happens with the relationship between the parents.
I know.
You've left it on a little bit of a cliffhanger.
A tiny bit of a cliffhanger, yes.
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No. Yeah. That is, I'm interested to see too.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah. There's, that marriage is fascinating to me because I don't think you leave the season going, these two shouldn't be together or these two should be together. I think it's very nuanced and complicated, and they both, Doug's not blameless.
Yeah.
Elsa clearly has made a big mistake. But you understand, hopefully you understand where she's coming from. And so season 2 is going to be, I think, about really kind of...
very complex.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's very complex.
But I love that because it leaves us all room to have our thoughts and feelings and have discussions about things that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I even think that between my husband and I, after just, you know, being in the theater and watching the premiere, we had a discussion because there was the one scene when the dad goes to look at the penguins, and my husband was talking to me about that and how, you know, it's hard. This is really hard, and that any little time that you feel like you do something, and you can speak to this as an autism dad, that a lot of times we get into this mommy thing where we leave you guys out, and it's not the best thing.
No, it's kind of like the sibling in a way, I mean, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, a little different because you're in a very responsible role, but it's you know, I mean, a lot of dads don't have an outlet. They don't have an outlet. They don't have a place where they can kind of let loose, and they're not necessarily a support group kind of, you know, thing. Dads. I mean, I think support groups are great for dads, but that's why I don't think you see a lot of support groups for dads. It's difficult for a father to sit down and think he's going to a support group and open up. Once they're there, it's a different story.
Right.
But
If they're at the right support group.
if they're at the right support. But I think it's difficult for them to kind of push themselves into that kind of, I'm going to sit down with a bunch of other dads and we're going to talk about things.
Yes.
It's difficult. And, yeah.
Well, I think you're right that it is similar to Casey in that everyone else's needs are less important.
Yeah.
Right.
And that means that the marriage gets sort of put on hold a little bit. And honestly, I think that's true in pretty much every family is, you know, there ends up being, it's very easy to lose sight of a marriage. It's very easy to lose sight of that connection when you have something, you know, somebody that you're actively keeping alive.
Yeah.
Or keeping healthy.
It's interesting. The statistics talk about how many divorces, you know, that we're more, as autism parents, we're more likely to get divorced. But for the parents that don't get divorced, that they tend to be closer. But my husband and I always talk about the fact that we are at our best in crisis. We don't know how to do the dance when there isn't a huge insurmountable thing to get over. And we struggle when there isn't some huge catastrophe going on.
That's such a good point, and I think you could say the same thing about this family. I think you know, Elsa and Doug have learned how to, you know, when they get to the bus in episode 8, when no spoilers, but something has happened with Sam, and it is a crisis. He says to the bus driver, "She's got this." They've been through that before. You know, they know their roles. It's very, very clear. They're very supportive of each other. The next scene, she gives him that like sweet kiss on the head. You know, like they have that sweet moment. That's when they are at their best, and that's going away a little bit. Sam's growing up, and he's doing great.
Yeah, and what do you do when that leaves?
Yes.
When that element leaves?
Yes, and what choices do you make? A really dear friend of mine said, you know, when you're in love with somebody, like you're not just, it doesn't just last forever. You wake up every morning and you decide, I'm going to be in love with this person. I'm going to be with this person. I'm committed to this. And what choice do they make? Do they still make that choice if Sam's sort of stability doesn't depend on that anymore?
Yeah. Who does everybody become?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Right.
Yeah. I can relate to that in a million different ways.
Yeah.
You know, just for the first time in my life thinking about, okay, there's going to come a day when my son's going to go to college, and then who will I be?
Yeah.
I need to figure that out toot sweet, right? And what a quality problem to have.
Yeah.
I did not, I sought that problem, but didn't think I was going to have it. So I love that you're telling, you know, bits and pieces of our stories in this story that you're telling. I love how we're all getting the world is being treated to a view that is helping all of us and that is helping us to communicate our needs to other people. It's like therapy for all of us, but it's good storytelling.
It's entertaining therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We like that.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This
Thank
has
you for
been
having me. It
such
was so
Could
fun.
you just stay forever?
Yeah.
Well, you can, you know, the truth is you can come whenever you want to, but
Okay.
you know you can come whenever you want.
Thank
That
you.
we love it when you're here.
love
I
being-
like having somebody with me. So if you just would, make it happen.
I feel
so
like
Well-
you guys have a good thing going.
You know what?
It's a good rapport.
I kind of jumped in
Could
when
be
you
her
were
Kelly.
coughing.
You
So-
did? No, yeah.
If I wasn't here, I think it would have been
anytime.
really
It would have been
Totally
really awkward. I wouldn't have known
Okay,
what to
so
say.
there we have it.
What do you say when someone's coughing? I don't know.
Right, exactly. In any case, thank you both for being here, and thank all of our viewers for being with us for this really special conversation that we hope continues and continues and continues.